Radio check, Sergey.
Yeah, hear well.
Yeah, copy. Okay, good morning guys. So we've got 10 minutes before the session starts.
Every Grand Prix weekend, Formula One teams have 4 hours of practice time. What actually happens in a Formula One practice session? Well, here at the Mexican Grand Prix, Williams have invited us into the inner sanctum, right into the heart of the operation in the garage for FP1. We're going to be on Sergei Sirotkin's side to see exactly what goes on in a free practice session.
We'll go to the Prep 1 setup, which is the low ride height. We just need to take it easy on this tyre set and with that rake fitted, so no curbs and no DRS.
So the session's just started and Sergei's one of the first drivers out on track, and that's because he's got to do his install lap.
An installation lap is the first thing that we usually do on a Friday morning. And essentially what that is, we're checking all of the major car systems, such as the suspension, the gearbox, the power unit. We want to check it all out, so we just do a lap around the circuit and essentially make sure that everything's fine. We look at the data afterwards and then we say, yeah, we're happy to run the car and get on with it.
Data looks okay. Okay, copy, thank you.
What we also try and do, because we're greedy, is we try to exploit that and get a little bit of performance out of it and do a little bit more data gathering. So sometimes, as we've got here, we've got a rake on the back of the car, and that's what, in this particular case, it's a diffuser rake. And what a rake is, essentially, it measures the pressure field. So it measures the flow field into that area of the car. And what we're trying to look at is the different vortices that come off, the energy that comes off, whether or not there's losses or separations. And we can tell all of that as the car goes around the circuit and measure all of that, and then it goes back into the wind tunnel and hopefully makes the car go quicker.
Confirm we'll box this lap, box.
Okay, boys, so we'll stop him in the box, back in on the wheel of the box. Paul, can you let me know when you're happy with this aero data?
Okay, Ben, the aero data is good from our side, so we can get straight into removing these rakes and also straight into the standard install checks, so engine cover and side pods can come off.
So Sergei's just completed his install lap. Sergei can start what is his job for the day in this free practice 1 session, which is going to be 3 runs, and they're going to do a back-to-back comparison test on front wing.
Just talking through this run profile, so we'll go out, we'll plan to do a prep, and then we'll go fast, slow, fast, slow, fast. So it's just the 2 Ferraris out on track at the moment.
Yeah, copy.
Okay, Sergei, so we'll drive straight out. Okay, so Van Dorn left the pits in front of us, so he's 4 seconds ahead on his outlap.
Essentially what we do during a P1 session, we usually give that over to data gathering. So it's a little bit of practice for the driver. The driver's getting into the circuit. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to do all of our major testing there. So it may be a mechanical test, it may be an aerodynamic test. Here we're doing an aerodynamic test. We're back-to-back in a front wing. So what does that mean? It means that you're going to run on the old front wing, and that's your reference test. And then what we do is we fit the new component, in this case a front wing, and we go and test that. There's a lot of sensors on the car, and from that you can measure the downforce, you can tell how stable that downforce is. That's the critical test of the weekend, and that will tell us whether we're going forward or not with the new component.
So guys, this should be a flap adjust in the box.
Okay, Sergei. So confirm box this lap for the front flap adjust.
Oh, can you confirm the flap adjust, please?
Plus 4.5, plus 4.5, please, Ben.
Copy that.
Sergei's just come in, very small adjustment on the front wing, and he's back on his way.
Yeah, just the rear dropped me off through the run quite a lot. So the first lap was quite under the limit, I would say, just to learn the track. And then just the rear would drop me off through the run. I think the tires could be ready for the first lap, and it looks like they were already overheated. Not overheated, but towards the overheating when I started my second lap. How much time we have to the next run? Do you have a time to jump out for P quickly?
Yeah, we've got 14 minutes.
So that first run was cut short by a couple of laps, just 10 on the board so far for Sergei. He came in, gave his feedback, then got up and took himself off for a little bit of light relief before his next run. In the meantime, they've changed that front wing over to the alternate spec, and in changing that over, they've also made some small setup changes at the rear of the car to accommodate that front wing.
Okay, so then we can get your comments on that second run.
Yeah, just felt it much more together overall. Better braking stability. Yeah, I mean, just the track also improving so much that it's kind of everything together really. yeah, but apart from that, it's just so much more related to the track improvement that I don't think it's that correct to compare it back to back, really. And also me, I think, learning the track, doing this radio in the first lap, it's a big difference.
So one of the things is, you know, we've got our test program. That's all been prepared, and we've been doing that for, you know, up to from 6 weeks ago. But sometimes you've got to be dynamic. Now, Sergei's feedback after we run the front wing was that he actually didn't have a good feel on it, and that was because, you know, he was learning the circuit. You know, he'd never having run there in a Formula 1 car before. The track was rubbering in, and we put this new front wing on, so there was too many things going on at once. So what we decided to do in that case was kind of bin the program and not put the baseline front wing back on, but to keep the test piece. And that offered us more data collection, and crucially it offered him to give us more subjective feedback by the end of the session as well.
Okay, Sergei, so this will be the checkered flag, but let's keep pushing on the way in.
Copy.
Okay, then good job in that session. So this set's coming off, we'll go back to Pirelli, and we'll get straight to the FP2 job list.
So 30 laps completed and P18 for Sergei at the end of the session. But a massively important 90 minutes, so much learned on that back-to-back test on the front wing, and of course also about tyre degradation for the weekend. But it doesn't stop there. No sooner had Sergei already brought the car back into the garage than the boys had been told, okay, now you've got to start the job list for FP2. It never ever stops, just 4 hours of practice before qualifying starts on the Saturday.